Hey guys, what's going on? I'm the self-described nerd, and today I am so freaking excited because it is finally time to talk about the one, the only Stu Macher. Now, before I start, yes, this video is a bit late. Yes, I said I was going to do it 2 weeks ago when I had the first video come out about the Ghostface, but life gets in the way. Also, wasn't feeling my best when recording that last video, and I'm feeling much better now. Not 100%, but I'm better. So hopefully the audio on this one's a bit better. So, yeah. All right. Got all that out of the way. Let's jump right in. So, Stu Macher. Stu very well could be my favorite character in all of horror. I mean, he's up there with Jigsaw. I adore Stu. He is my favorite Ghostface killer for a mile. And it also doesn't help that he's played by one of the nicest actors in Hollywood, Matthew Lillard. Matthew Lillard is one of my favorite actors. I'll watch literally anything with him in it. I'm not a Five Nights at Freddy's guy, never played any games, but I watched the movie just because he was in it. I actually got the chance to meet him at a Comic Con, and wow, he was amazing. One of the nicest people I've ever met at a Comic Con. I cannot sing his praises enough. However, this is not a Matthew Lillard video. This is a Stu Macher video. Now, guys, I have a bit of a confession. I'm part of the crazy group of fans that think that he survived. I mean, yep, sorry. Hate on me all you want. I mean, part of that has to do with the fact that if Stu is not dead, then that means we get another great performance as Matthew Lillard as Stu. So, that might be part of it. But I've been saying it for years. I mean, he isn't dead, non-lethal, all this, and I can remember the exact circumstances when I heard the news. So it was late. It was around 7 o'clock in the evening. I was watching TV. My phone had died. It was on the charger. So I got up. I went to go check on it, see if it was back up. I checked it, opened up the Google, scrolled to the news feed, and there on the top was an article by Deadline labeled Matthew Lillard is returning for Scream 7. I literally screamed. Oh my god, that was amazing. So that was it. I was right. I wasn't crazy. He's been alive this whole time. And then, you know, Roman got announced to be coming back, and Dewey got announced to be coming back. I mean, still getting a TV on his head, that's nothing. He'd walk it off. He's perfectly fine. But Roman getting shot in the head and Dewey getting gutted like a fish, um, that's a little less survivable. Whatever. So that kind of cast his return into doubt. So the leading theory online is that whoever Ghostface is this time around is using AI to recreate the old killers and torment Sydney from beyond the grave, all that. And, that's, plausible. That's, most likely what's going to happen. But no, I will not accept that. I have been a Stu truther my entire life, and I refuse to believe that they are just going to pull some cop out. Oh, it's AI. No. Stu is returning in the flesh. They want you to think. That's why they announced the other killers to throw you off. So you just think that Stu's going to get lumped in there. No, 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 no. I'm not accepting it. So I wanted to go over in the event that Stu is returning. They're gonna just say, nope, he is returning. We're gonna go with this fun, crazy theory for a little bit. And if he is going to return, there are three possible ways I think he could do so. And I'm gonna detail them where today, starting from least likely to not very likely also, but the one that I want. So without further ado, don't forget to do all the YouTube things like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. All right. So my first theory is the one I like to call the solo practitioner. Picture this. Bodies have been dropped. Most of the cast is dead. Ghostface appears. Sydney challenges him. Let's end this! Take off that mask. Ghostface stops, laughs. You mean you haven't figured it out yet? All this about your past? Don't you know why I'm doing this? How long I've wanted revenge? You know, I didn't lie to you, Sid. These days, and then he pulls off the mask to reveal Stu's scarred face. You gotta have a sequel. All right, my professional voice level acting aside. So that's, my first theory that, you know, Stu is the solo mastermind behind this latest massacre. He has been in a mental hospital or he's been locked up, kept secret. His parents either like paid someone like, hey, don't tell everyone that our kid is crazy, just put him in a mental institution, fix him. And obviously that didn't work. He broke out, has been masterminding this latest group of killings and is the one behind it all. Um, Now, out of all the scenarios, I think that this is the least likely and the least cool. For starters, one killer doing everything is highly improbable. Think back to Scream 3 when Roman was basically in two places at once, like when he was in the house killing everybody, and then he faxed the thing to the fax machine, and then that got blown up, and then he suddenly appeared at the bottom of the hill, and despite not knowing, like, it was all extremely improbable, and in which, Angelina was revealed was supposed to be revealed to be the killer, but that got changed, and most of the movie got filmed on that, so it might have to be attributed to that, but still, one killer doing everything, highly, highly unlikely. In addition, Roman was the younger guy, and Stu is not gonna be older. He is going to be older because Matthew Lillard, time, age, all that fun stuff. And also, I think that he survived the TV, but he's not gonna walk away, completely unscathed, dust himself up, oh, I'm all better now. So he's most likely gonna have some nerve damage. He's gonna be pretty messed up after that. So I really don't think, in addition to one killer doing it all being unlikely, the 60-year-old, I think he's 60, he's got to be getting up there. However old Matthew Lillard is, he's not in the prime of his life anymore, unfortunately. So I really don't see that making sense without them doing some super mega superhuman logic where Stu is this ultimate, like he's got super speed, super strength. I don't see that happening. That's not very likely. And they do, that's going to be a big jumping of the shark moment. I mean, already bigger than bringing Stu back from the dead. So I could see them doing this, but I don't think this one is very likely due to the limitations of there being one Ghostface killer being improbable and Matthew Lillard's age. But it is, could happen. I don't think it's very likely, but I want to throw it on here. All right, moving on to option number 2. All right, so we're back in this scenario. Sydney's challenge. Ghostface takes his mask off but says, you gotta have a sequel. And then another Ghostface appears. And the best sequels always introduce new faces to keep the franchise fresh. And then rips off the mask to reveal, McKenna Grace's face. I don't know. We're gonna see. That was my theory. But to spice up the formula. So in this scenario, we get the Sand reveal, but in addition to Stu, he has an accomplice, possibly long lost family member, possibly someone who idolizes him. Either way, Stu is not working alone. He has a partner, just like in the original. Now, this is much more likely. Two killers, that makes more sense. Um, the younger, fresh blood to do more of the physical stuff, and then you've got Stu as a mastermind planning it, doing the phone calls, all that. This one is much more likely because, like I said, I don't think Stu is going to be doing all this by himself, but he's got someone younger to help him out. This could be much better for him. They could be the one responsible for the attacks while Stu is, manipulating and doing all this to Sydney. Maybe Stu gets a kill or two in there because, he's crazy, bloodlust, all that, but Stu is not working alone. And, it harkens back to the original with Billy and Stu, and then Stu this time is the mastermind along with his accomplice, like how he was more, Billy was the mastermind, and then Stu is kind of the accomplice. So this is the likely option. It could be superfan, could be family member, whatever. And Stu could have a scapegoat or someone to throw under the bus to survive because, I'm gonna take another big swing here, and I'm gonna say one of the Ghostface is gonna survive this movie. I think, you know, they need something to set up the sequel. It's tracking to do like fairly well, but you know, the future of this franchise is uncertain after everything that went down, Melissa Barrera and all that. So they need something that's gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, that was crazy. I can't wait for the next one." So I think that thing is going to be a killer surviving. And if Stu ends up being the killer and he's got an accomplice, how Stu survives is by throwing whoever their accomplice is under the bus, allowing Stu to escape and live to fight another day. Um, so this one is like your standard Ghostface reveal. It's not like the coolest option in the bunch, but the my third one is a little outlandish. We're gonna get to that. So I feel like this is probably the most likely option. It makes the most sense, harkens back to the original, it makes logistical sense. So Stu and accomplice, partners in crime, just like the original. What do you think? I could see it. Um, Last but not least, this is where we're gonna get the craziest, biggest swing of the video in a video already about crazy big swings. So in the last my last theory is one that has been dubbed the cult of Ghostface. This one is so outlandish, but we're just gonna roll with it. So in this theory, Stu is not only the mastermind of his partner, but Stu has an entire cult of Ghostface that worship him and they are serving him and there he is like controlling them and there's multiple killers all answering to Stu. Now, this would be completely insane. You're probably thinking, like, what? Are you a nut? Like, cult of Ghostface? And they would never do anything like that. And then, the nerds, the ones that we love on this channel, the ones that love this franchise are like, wait a minute, that's not your own theory. You stole that from somebody. And yes, yes, I did steal that from someone. Who did I steal that from? Well, I stole that one from Kevin Williamson, who in addition to being the director of this film, has been the writer on many, many a Scream films. And in his original draft, which I'm sure a couple of you know, but if you didn't know, the original idea for Scream 3 had Stu revealed to be the killer, and he was masterminding a cult of high school killers, and they all answered to him, and that was going to be the big crazy twist. Now, real world tragedies, Columbine happened, and suddenly the idea of having a whole bunch of crazy teenage killers was, not very good. So obviously that had to be changed. That idea was scrapped. But think back to, and I'm jumping off to a random horror franchise, but the Child's Play series, where Don Mancini has been part of this series since pretty much the original, and he's had all these crazy ideas. Just like in Child's Play 3, he wanted multiple Chuckies, but didn't have the budget. So later on down the line, he kept that idea. He stored it in his brain. He was like, this is such a cool idea. I want to do it someday. And he was able eventually to get multiple Chuckies in one film in Cult of Chucky. Cult Ghostface, Cult of Chucky, where Mancini got his original idea. It all makes sense. I'm not crazy. I mean, maybe just a little bit, but I could really see a scenario where Kevin Williamson loved this idea of having a cult of Ghostface and held on to it, and now he is given the reins. They said, "Hey, we burn the fans. We need something that's going to get them back. What can we do to get you on board? What can we do? What can we give you that will get you to direct this film? Will get you to ignore all the horrible, shady stuff Spyglass has done. What can we get you?" And I could see a scenario where Kevin Williamson, well, I had this idea since like 2000 of this cult of Ghostface, and I never got to bring it to life, and I want to do it now. I want to bring back Stu. I want to bring back my cult of Ghostface idea. So, you know, for as crazy as this idea sounds, having a whole cult of Ghostface answer to Stu, it's not entirely far fetched because it was the original plan. And I really could see Kevin Williamson, maybe not like doing straight verbatim, because I know a lot of fans, crazy fans like me, know this already. So I could see it not like being exact. Maybe it's not as big of a cult. Maybe it's a super mega ultra cult, but reusing some ideas and some elements from the movie that he never got to make now that he has this opportunity to make Scream 7. So I could see them doing something like that. That would be insane. And I say if you're gonna bring Stu back, you might as well like go crazy. Don't just bring Stu back and have some like standard Ghostface reveal. Like We already did that. Like, go crazy. Like, I mean, obviously keep it realistic because the whole like mm, intrigue of Scream is that it's, semi-realistic, as realistic as, this can be. But, do something different. We are on the seventh installment in this franchise. My biggest problem with Scream 6, I like 75% of that movie. 75% of that movie is taking risks, doing new stuff. And then when we got to the killer reveal, oh, it's just Scream 2 all over again. Boom, we're gonna fight the killers. Boom, they're dead. End of discussion. That movie fell off so quickly, and I was not a fan of how the movie ended. So we need something new, and possibly a cult of Ghostface, all answering to the long lost killer Stu Macher is quite the thing that needs to be that brings this franchise back, that revolutionizes, and talking back with that like earlier idea of one killer escaping, Stu coming back for the next movie, a whole cult of Ghostface, easily for him to slip out and escape in the chaos. And it would set up how, like, maybe a couple cult members survive and they carry on to plan the sequel because these days, you gotta have the sequel. So maybe I'm just nuts, but I mean, this whole video is nuts. I mean, the idea that they're gonna resurrect Stu and 20 years down the line, it's not. So, you're already jumping the shark. You're already bringing back a crazy long lost Stubacher. Why not go fully nuts? Why don't you just do it? Bring in the cult of Ghostface. I think it would be insane. But can you imagine a whole cult of Ghostface all facing off against Sydney and Tatum and Gale? It would be amazing. Or maybe it's too much, and that's too much of a jumping the shark. So I don't know. We'll see. But there we go. Those are my three theories for how Stu Macher could return. And if you made it this far and you stayed through all of my crazy delusional ramblings, I appreciate you. Um, so yeah, let me know down in the comments if you think that any of these three theories are right. If you think I'm completely insane, don't even bother commenting. I mean, do because it helps with engagement. But I already know I'm crazy. This whole video was crazy, but we're just gonna run with it. Okay, we're just having a little fun here. So anything else, make sure to throw it down in the comments. Like, subscribe, notifications. I guess I don't know. People never. If you do that, please let me know. I really genuinely want to know if you take away anything from this video. I want to know. Do you turn notifications off for your favorite creators? I don't. Is that something people do? Am I just weird? I mean, yes, I am weird because I came up with this whole idea of Ghostface and all that fun stuff. But, that's your one takeaway. Do you turn on notifications for your favorite creators? Let me know down in the comments below. I've been Subscribe Nerd, and I'll see you guys later.